Guys, we have it. The official depth chart for week 1 of the season. I am so excited for this, guys. I will be live on Sunday, by the way, and I'll also be live tomorrow night to break down the Lions versus Chiefs game where Kelsey's actually hurt and not playing. Nonetheless, though, let's go to our first official depth chart, break it down, talk about my thoughts and opinions you already know. Alright, so starting off right away, Joe Burrow, Shiesty, is the starting quarterback. I'll be honest with you, I did not see this one coming. I thought we were going to go with his alter ego, Hall of Famer, Joe Burrow. No, I'm just kidding. Jake Browning is our backup. Not surprising. Joe Mixon is our starting running back. But here's the first interesting take we have. And that's actually our running back core. Now, Travion Williams is listed as the second string running back. Third string is Chris Evans, and fourth string is Chase Brown. Now, we already know that Coach came out and said this isn't really that fluent. It isn't like that straightforward, like, okay, well, just because the depth chart lists this guy here means that he is the guy and it's his job to lose. No, Coach said pretty much that everyone is going to get equal, paces. Everyone's going to have a fair chance, to get as many reps as possible, and that depending on the opponent or the game flow of the game, this might change how, people get the football. So, for example, if we need to pass the ball a lot in this game, you might see more of Travion or more of Chris Evans. But I kind of expected, Chris Evans to be number 2 in this roster. Him being Travion Williams being number 2, it makes me believe that they're very confident in Travion Williams. Now, of course, them keeping 4 running backs in general was surprising, but the fact they did means they very much have a lot of confidence in Travion Williams to be very successful for this team. And to be honest, makes sense. Travion is a very good running back, so him, getting that opportunity to be number 2 here makes perfect sense, even though he was injured throughout the whole training camp preseason this time. Listen, it is what it is. I'm excited to see how he can play, but he's probably going to get a lot of snaps in this game. He'll probably have the most snaps outside of Joe Mixon at the running back position. I'm not expecting Chris Evans or Chase Brown to get more snaps than Travion. But again, if Travion starts struggling, then maybe that will change a little bit. All right, so for receiving core, we got Chase. We, of course, have Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, makes sense. 1, 2, 3 right there. We have Trenton Irwin. We have Charlie Jones and Yoshi. Okay, this is going to get interesting. Now, keep in mind that these are the depth chart, but there will be players who are inactive going into this game. Just a side note here. So not every single player on this list here will be active for this game. Some players will be, some players will not be. But again, the receiving core makes perfect sense. I mean, that's exactly what you expect. It's literally all of our receivers. So it's not even a joke here. We literally cut every receiver outside of those 6 guys. So there's not much chances or situations where you could put one guy over the other guy. Now, I will say it is interesting to, again, as you guys can see, this is kind of like how it's correctly set up. The outside receivers are Jamar Chase and Higgins. Obviously, the backup slot receiver, which is slot receiver starter, is Tyler Boyd. The backup is Chuck Sizzle, and the backup for T. Higgins is Yoshi. Will we see any play time with Yoshi in this game? It's possible. It's also possible we could see Chuck Sizzle in this game. I'm going to guess at most 3 or 4 snaps, guys. I'm not expecting that much, okay? But maybe 3 or 4 snaps we might see in this game, so that would be cool to see them out there, see what they can do. The Browns do have a banged-up secondary right now. Greg Newsome has a groin injury, and then, of course, their other guy, Denzel Ward, might not play because he has a concussion. So, again, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. All right, so for our starting offensive line, it's exactly what we expected. Orlando Brown Jr., Cordell Volson, Teddy K, Alex Kappa, and Jonah Williams. Jackson Carman is listed as the backup right tackle, which is really interesting because we saw throughout training camp, the end of training camp and preseason, that they started making it, they started using Carman at left tackle again. And he was actually very successful at left tackle. So I'm kind of surprised that they're now listing him as backup right tackle. Now, again, this is, again, just on paper. They can move him anywhere they want throughout the game. But it also does allude to the fact of how good Dante Smith, I think somebody told me I say it correctly, Dante Smith has done in preseason and training camp. Again, there's a reason why they kept him and let Hakeem go. And a lot of the reason why was because he looks so freaking good so far in training camp and preseason. So, again, Jackson Carman, backup right tackle. We'll have to see how that ends up working out. And by the way, just a side note here, I just want to get in front of the comment. I know someone's going to comment this. Jonah's playing the whole game, guys. There's not going to be a rotation. Just saying that right now. And then obviously, other than that, Cody Ford's backup left guard. We have Trey Hill backup center, and we have Max Sharpen as the backup right guard. So, not surprising there. Now going on to the defense, we have Hubbard, Sample, and Miles Murphy. Makes perfect sense, as again, Miles Murphy will get snaps in this game, by the way, as a rotation, especially with Joseph Asai out of this game. You're going to see a lot of Miles Murphy in this game. I'll say a lot. You're going to get a good amount, I will say. DJ Reader, BJ Hill, Josh, Zach Carter, and Jay. We have right defensive end, which of course Trey Hendrickson and then Asai's going to be out of this game. So we're going to see probably more rotation of Miles Murphy, possibly at the right defensive end too. As like kind of a rotation with Trey Hendrickson. For linebacking core, we have Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, Marcus Bailey, Keem Davis-Gaither, and Joe Bacci. At cornerback, of course, we have, what's his name? Tyson Anderson. Oh, sorry, not cornerback. Cornerback, we have DJ Turner, who is the direct backup for Cheeto. We have Poison Ivy, who is the direct backup for Cam Taylor-Britt here. And then finally, we have Jalen Davis, who is the direct backup for Mike Hilton. So, again, another position. We got 6 cornerbacks going into this game. So, it's so interesting how the cornerback position and the wide receiver position, we really kept it short and sweet. Which, I guess that just goes to show how much they like the guys they have. But it's just so interesting to me is like they really did not go that in depth when it comes to those two positions. They didn't keep extra depth. Now they do have extra depth on the practice squad. We have what? 2 receivers? No, 1 receiver. Cedric Jackson on the practice squad. We also have Sidney Jones on the practice squad. So again, if anything happens, they can bring somebody up. But I just kind of expected them to have maybe like 7 cornerbacks. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for saying that. For safeties, we have, of course, Nick Scott. His backup is Jordan Battle, Dax Hill, and then Tyson Anderson. Now, even though, yes, they are technically backups, I'm expecting to see some playtime in this game from Jordan Battle and Tyson Anderson as rotation pieces or different packages. Obviously, the mad scientist Lou likes to go out there and give us different packages when it comes to defensive formations. So I'm expecting to get a kind of a mix of everything in this game. I'm not expecting to see too much of those guys, but just enough that you're like, wow, that's the guy. All right, and then finally we have here is the kick returner is going to be, surprisingly enough, kick returner, Chris Evans. Chris Evans is the kick returner. Punt returner is Charlie Jones or Chuck Sizzle. And then the backup, it looks like, is Chuck Sizzle for kick return. And then Travion Williams. And then punt return, obviously, is Charlie Jones, Chuck Sizzle, Trent Irwin. That is interesting because I know we talked about the possibility, what if they would to use DJ Turner on kick returns because he's very fast. But it looks like Chuck Sizzle is going to get that punt return game, and he's also going to get a chance at a kick return game, which is not really that surprising. I mean, in all honesty, this is why they got rid of Stanley Morgan. This is why they got rid of Trent Taylor. This is why they got rid of those guys, because they believe in these rookies to be this special teams, player that can really step up and help them in those situations. Brad Robbins, Money Mac makes sense, and then Cal is all long snapper. So could be exciting. And then a holder for field goals, extra points, etc. is Brad Robbins. So I think, was it last year we used, what's his name? We used Brandon Allen at the holding position. I feel like last year, the holding position, we used Brandon Allen. So I feel like this is a little bit changed from last year. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. But guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'm so excited about this, guys. Peace out.